Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And I'm here for yet another 5 unexpected things you might want to consider storing or saving or stocking up on for hard times. And whatever those hard times are, it could be something very minimal or something a little more major. These are just a few ideas to consider, and don't ever feel pressured to put a bunch of this stuff up. It's really all dependent on the person and how best they might think these things will suit them in various situations. So these are just a few ideas. And if you're interested in seeing the other videos I have on this, I will put the playlist in the description box down below, and hopefully I'll be putting out more videos along this line later on. So let's get started on the first one. Now, this one may come as a bit of a surprise because typically when we're talking about self-sufficiency and all that and being more prepared, we're usually talking about getting away from paper products so that we have more reusable things, whether that be cloth wipes instead of toilet paper, cloth table napkins, or cloth feminine napkins in replace of the paper options. But I do believe it's still very wise to have some paper items put up just in case an event happens where maybe you don't have water so that you can wash your dishes and your cloth things that you have. Maybe there was a main break or some kind of chemical spill in the water. This has happened so many times just here in the US alone, and main breaks happen everywhere all the time. Usually you're only without water for maybe a day or just a few hours in a case like that, but a chemical spill can really affect that for a long period of time. So I like to keep a lot of these on hand. Usually you can get, I think you still can, I haven't had to buy them in a long time, but huge pack of them at Costco for really cheap. So as far as paper dishes kind of thing, this would be the cheap way to go. Obviously it's not going to hold as much, but it's going to be the cheapest option. And then of course paper plates, I just set out some small ones. I always have this kind of stuff on hand. We rarely use it. It's typically saved for barbecues out at the property, which is why most of that stuff is out there rather than here. But these you can find, they're going to be a little bit more expensive for some silly reason, but you can find some good heavy duty natural paper plates, something that you would feel safe burning when it's done, and not worrying about chemicals in your food. So you can see this is just kind of an off-white rather than a bleached. And then obviously paper napkins, paper towels, any of that kind of stuff. We do keep this stuff on hand. Another reason too might be you might have plenty of water for washing, but maybe there's something else going on where everything is just very stressful, very busy. Maybe it was a death in the family. Maybe it was something just as stressful as that. And maybe having those paper products on hand to save you a little bit of work during that very stressful time could also be very helpful. So just some things to think about there. Now, the next on my list is, it might seem like an obvious thing, but it's clothespins. And it's not just for the purpose of hanging laundry, though, yes, obviously that's why I keep a lot on hand. I have your traditional wood clothespins, but over time, and I still have a lot of those and still use them, but over time I did switch to some stainless steel ones. Like these here were the first ones I got. And then somebody recommended these particular stainless steel ones that are actually made in Italy, but sold out of a place in Canada. These are very, very sturdy. Now, the reason I like the stainless steel I like both styles for different reasons in the way they hold clothes on the line. But the nice thing about the stainless steel ones, because they're stainless, you can just leave them out on the line and not worry about them getting weathered. And I have tons that just stay out there all year round, even through the winter, even through the rainy season, which is pretty much 9 months out of the year when I'm not hanging clothes out there. But I have a whole bunch of these in the house because not only do I have clotheslines in the house, I have a lot of uses for these. So clothespins are great for using, like if you're sewing, you can just easily clip things together, fabrics together and whatnot. Like I'll use these for if I'm putting together a patchwork skirt, I get it all laid out by the tier. So first tier, second tier, third tier, fourth tier, and then I'll clip them together in the order I want to sew them. So I have the first tier, and I'll have another set clipped together for the second, another for the third, another for the fourth. But aside from that, clothespins have so many other uses as well. In fact, right over here is our ping pong table. I'll put a picture of it here. And my son had bought that for us since we had converted this room. You know, it used to be my dance studio and martial arts studio. And since we have converted it into a big family room, so we have a ping pong table, a pool table, a foosball table, and a big long dining table. And so this just is a great game room for us and a hangout area. So our son bought us this ping pong table. However, with all the boxes and things that I need to keep on hand for shipping our own products that we make, the best place for me to store them was under the ping pong table. But I just hated how unsightly it was, and was having a heck of a time figuring out the best way to make a cover to go around. So what you saw in the picture, and I'll put it again here, is that I took a buffalo plaid flannel sheet and just used some clothespins. This has been the best method out of everything I've tried, and just pinned it around the edges so that I can make it look nice and hide all those ugly boxes and other packing material that is stored under there. And so that's just an example, and I use them in so many other ways. And so I do recommend having clothespins on hand, not just for the ability to hang up your clothes on a line, because maybe you don't have power and you need to do that, but also for their many other uses. And then another thing that I've talked about before, but it's been a while, is we've never needed to use this, but I learned about it quite a number of years ago from Patriot Nurse. And what this is a temporary filling. I'll link to this below, but you can also shop around through that. If you go through that link, you can just shop around and see if you can find maybe a different pack. Maybe you just want one of these. I think it was a pack of 3 or 6 that I had purchased. And I have them stored in different places. But, you know, in case you ever lose a filling or anything happens and you need at least a temporary fill, you got something like this if you can't get to a dentist. And it seems like I read or heard somewhere that these actually last far longer than just temporary. And you can really stave off having to have any of that kind of work done for a pretty long time, even longer than what it will say on the package. And then another thing that you might find a bit surprising is saving your dryer lint. So maybe you still are running your dryer and you got all that dryer lint that's building up. Well, one of the things that you can save your dryer lint for, the dryer lint can be used to make fire starters. Now, the particular ones I'm showing you that Patrick made is made with wood shavings from a shop. So I also recommend wood shavings to save up because they have many purposes too. They can be used in the garden. They can be used in your chicken coop. So if you have, if you or your spouse is someone who does a lot of woodworking, save up those wood shavings as well. But I have made fire starters using dryer lint. In fact, one of my oldest videos I have out there is showing me making fire starters using empty egg cartons and dryer lint and then melted candle wax. So you got some of those candles, maybe you stocked up on at garage sales because they're always there. And maybe you never want to burn them because you're worried about the toxins, so you're not going to use them for a backup sort of source of light, or they're just ugly and you don't want to keep them around. Well, you can melt those down. That's why we buy all of them. We just melt the wax down. And then, like, this is a thinner one because he was experimenting with different sizes and how long they'll burn. But I'll link to his video down below because it's kind of interesting. He uses toilet paper tubes for that. So save those too. So save those candles, the toilet paper tubes, and your dryer lint. Or you can, like I said, with the egg cartons, you can just put the lint in there, and then you pour your melted candle wax over it and let it really seep in there. And they're really great fire starters because they light easy and they burn for a very long time for the size of them. I don't remember how long the thin ones burn. They burn long enough to get a fire going, depending on the wood, of course. And then the thicker ones, I think, burn, I timed them at 15 minutes. So anyway, I'll link to Patrick's video on that before, but you can use the same idea that he did with your dryer lint if you don't have wood shavings. And then the last one I wanted to bring up again, even though I've mentioned it in a few videos, it's just kind of a fun one to me, even though we've never been in a position yet. I've had these for like 4 years, 5 years, and we have yet to be in a position where we've ever need them, but that is the Wizzy wipes. So the box looks like this, and I'll link to them down below, but there's other brands you can get as well. They're just this big. They just look like a very large pill. And they make a cloth about this big. All you need is a couple of drops of water on here. You don't need very much water, just a little bit. You can just even dip it in water real quick, and that's enough for it to start unfolding. And then you have this nice, good size cloth, as you can see in these pictures here, that if you're just using them for wiping your hands off or something like that, or wiping something down, you can actually clean them out and reuse them, but they're also biodegradable. So there's something that it can be very handy for many things. So what I do, I found they fit into these match stick holders, these waterproof match stick holders, perfectly. So I'll show you what that looks like in there. Look at that. It fits perfectly. And I think there's 9 in here. And so I keep one of these in my purse, just in case we're on the road, I have to go to the bathroom or something. Keep one in each of our bug out bags, or you just need something to clean your hands off with. And they're just, I think they're just a very cool thing to have on hand. And like I said, they're biodegradable, so you can bury them and they're going to biodegrade, so you don't have to worry about that. I took the excess that I didn't already pack up into some different little things like that, and vacuum sealed them into a jar just to keep them clean. So anyway, again, I'll link to those down below, and anything else I can think of that you might be interested in. And again, these are just a few ideas. I've had people say, well, I don't have room to stock up on all that stuff. Well, don't. These are just ideas for you to consider that, you know, you might look at that and go, I don't think that's for me. I don't see myself ever needing anything like that. But you might find something else that you might see to be a good idea, or it might even be that it's stuff like the clothespins that you already have on hand that you didn't think about all of the other uses they have. So that is the purpose of these videos. I do hope you're enjoying them. And please, if you have any other unexpected type ideas or different unique ideas of things you like to keep stock or keep on hand, please put those in comments down below. And if I run out of my own ideas, then I might use some of yours in a future video. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.